Hello and welcome to a 2019 review of the RBC Canadian Open. I didn't do the greatest when it came to cashing, but we were on a lot of the players that were inside the top 10. So the process worked. We just didn't pick the right players. And if we'll get into the top 10 and their salaries, you really couldn't own everybody that was inside the top five. You had to pick and choose because Rory, I think, was the third most expensive golfer, and then the next two were like 8, 6, and 9, 1, respectively. So you really couldn't put those three guys together. You had to pick one. And then the guys that followed, well, let's just go right into the salary. So I go to my recent form tab, and we will see that it's a pretty hefty salary. There's no way that equals 57,300. So we're 7,300 over the limit. So there's no way we can own those golfers together. I'm not positive if my optimal lineup is absolutely optimal. I just quickly looked and kind of compared it to the $1 entry that I ended up choosing, or that I ended up entering. I don't know why I didn't enter into the $4 or the $5 tournament. I just forgot. So I believe the optimal lineup I have was 454 points, or 654 points, sorry. Dyslexic. 645. And then the $1 winning lineup was 615. So we had gotten it by 30 points. So yeah, I mean, like I said, you couldn't pick everyone that was up here. Yeah, you had to pick and choose. So of the top guys, I mean, really Rory was the only person you could pick and do well at this tournament. So let's get into. Let me talk about the tournament that I watched a lot on Thursday and I watched a lot on Friday. I didn't really get to watch much Saturday, but the morning round of Sunday I got to watch. And the big takeaway I had from the golf course is that for the first round, at least, that Thursday round, everyone seemed a bit surprised at the greens. I don't think anyone really had a good putting day. And Keegan was on top of the leaderboard. Well, he's no good at putting, so I'm not sure how he got up there. I'm just guessing it's because the putters that are decent could not get the greens down. I got to listen to an interview that Jim Furyk had, and he's very analytical. So he was able to provide a lot of insight that I don't think we would have gotten from anyone else. He had said that the greens are sloped, a 3% grade on most of them. And for those that aren't or who that don't know, I think it's a 3% grade. I can't remember exactly the terminology, but basically when you drop the ball on any point of the green, or say you stimp, you use the same measuring thing from a stimp, that ball should stop within 3 feet. I think if you just drop it, it should stop within 3 feet from a certain distance. I can't remember exactly the science. It's been a long time since school, but it's not supposed to roll more than 3 feet. And if it does, you can't put a pin anywhere on those spots. Well, Jim Furyk was saying that the greens were extremely sloped, where they only had certain places they could put the pins. So if you think about it, any people or any person that's putting outside of maybe 5 to 10 feet, they're going to be affected by some kind of slope, whether it's downhill, uphill, side slope on either direction. They were going to be affected by it. So putting was not easy. Let's put it that way. And he had said it was a mix of them being really sloped and them being really slow. And slow with Poa greens probably is not fun to putt on. I couldn't imagine it being fun. First of all, it's got to be to be that slow. That means they didn't cut them that low, and not cutting Poa short results in some very inconsistent grass growth. So I can't imagine how awful the putting was. Now Rory was, you know, he was on fire. His putting stats were amazing. His ball striking was amazing. Everything was amazing. This was one of those Rory weeks that no one was going to beat him. If we get into the results, Rory won at 22 under. The next person was at 15, and then you had a bunch of people between 10 and 13. So he ran away with the tournament. I actually thought we were going to get, you know, mid-20s is what we were going to get. I think I said the winner. I probably actually said the majority of the golfers. So really, we got one person who just barely broke 20. So I was a little off on that. I didn't think that the putting was going to be as difficult as it ended up being, because I really don't have any personal knowledge on Hamilton Golf and Country Club. Had I heard, you know, Furyk talk about, or any player talk about how sloped the greens were, I would have known a little bit more. But yeah, it was a good tournament. I played a lot of Rory. I should say I played a lot of Rory. Let me go back to. I played 25% of Rory, so that was good. Here, we'll go into the process. So if you recall, I had said, you know, we wanted at least 1-1. I think that's what it ended up being. If I go back to the notes. There was a 1-1 in every single top 10, and I believe we ended up getting that. We were kind of looking at 1s and 2s. We had 2 golfers inside the top 5 this week that were 1s. We had 2 golfers that were inside the top 2. And really, we wanted, like, the min was 2 to find, you know, the last year bucket of a 1. We wanted at least 2 of those guys because we knew they were going to make the top 5. Should say we don't know, but history would show that that's what we wanted. Likewise goes for the top 20. The year before, we had 2. The min was 1. So you could have really created lineups with 2 golfers in the bucket 1, 2 golfers in bucket 2 for last year, and then the only other number we have here is someone who missed the cut the year before. Going into the last week, stats for top 5, again, we've got the 1s. We had 3 there and 2s. So if you stuck with 1s and 2s for the last week's stats, you would have been pretty well off also. So that's what we were looking at. I did a blind test, if you recall. I hid the names. We just looked at the buckets, and we starred the players that we liked. So as we can see, I actually have this all sorted by who I starred. And really, we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 golfers out of 34 that I liked who missed the cut. So 25 golfers made the cut. That's pretty awesome. And if we go by the result that they ended up getting, you can see I had 9 of the top 10 golfers. Well, yeah. Well, 10 of the... How am I missing a number here? There must be some sorting that's wrong. Oh, I didn't put the X's in. There we go. I was confused, but we got it. So I had 9 of the top 10 golfers. I'm not sure why I put X next to Willett. I couldn't tell you that off the top of my head. But these were golfers that I was just staying away from. Now, Willett ended up being in the optimal lineup, but it didn't hurt me. Because you could easily play Graham McDowell. But it is nice to see that the blind test got us on, you know, the number 1, 2, all the way down to the number 9 golfer. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign. We just didn't mix and match the right players. And again, if you look at the salaries here, there's no way you're going to fit any of these golfers together unless you choose no one from the 10K range. Even then, you can't even. I don't think you can fit these golfers if I take all the cheap ones here. So that leaves me with 8,600 left. So I couldn't choose anybody else other than these golfers here. I think what I ended up doing is if I added Van Rooyen down here, that's my way of finding all the golfers that I starred and putting them in a lineup that did well. So I put in $25. I only made 3, so that was a net loss of 22, which is very, very, very disappointing. I'm not too excited about that, but it's still nice to see the process worked. And going forward, I mean, if it's played at this tournament, at least we have some knowledge on it now. Looking forward to the U.S. Open, some golfers that I really like is Justin Thomas. Justin Thomas struggled, but he came back. I was kind of waiting to see, you know, how his wrist was going to handle this golf course. I wanted to see, because in the Memorial the week before, he hit a lot of shots way off target. And, the wrist plays a huge factor in the golf swing. You can't keep it stable through the impact. It's either going to lag behind or it's going to flip forward like you're trying to protect it. And that's going to result in either blocks to the right or big hooks to the left. And he had both of those going on at the Memorial. This week, however, his ball striking was amazing. His putter was really the thing that let him down. So it was fun watching him and Brooks play. They enjoyed playing with each other. They looked like they really challenged each other at times. I just noticed this. I want you guys to see this. We have Rory, Webb, and Kuchar all finish inside the top 5, and they all play together. You've heard me in the past say I like pairing golfers together who teed off, who had the same tee time and the same starting hole on Thursday. So the people within the group, that's all I'm getting at. That's the first time I've ever actually seen something like that. And now that I look at it even more, look at how many morning times there were on Thursday. If I cherry pick these stats and say the top 7 golfers, only 1 was in the afternoon. So Friday's conditions weren't terrible, but I feel like, I shouldn't say Friday, Thursday evenings. I don't think they were terrible. I think the greens were a little bumpy, more so on Thursday. And I think that was a lot to do to the rain that they got Wednesday. So I'm guessing that's why the afternoon round on Thursday probably didn't result in much success. But I think the players that did make the cut ended up doing all right. We have a lot of morning times, actually, now that I look at it. I'll cherry pick here. There are only 3 inside the top 15 that were afternoon tee times. So that's something to look at also. We also like to go by ranking. Here, let me get this on the screen a little bit here. I know that sometimes you guys can't see anything. So here we go with the top golfers here. It looks like tee to green really was the main focus of winning, or it was one of the most important stats. Now, this is Shane Lowry. He is a European golfer, so we don't have any stats on him. I don't think his stats would have been that great. But even birdie or better percentage, well over 21%. We kind of knew we wanted birdie or better. Putting was pretty decent. Post splits, I always said I think I've always said over 7. We always want over 7% who've made top 10s overall events for POA. The overall POA scoring is pretty darn good. Same with the 2019 POA. So like that, this all worked. This is all due to the process. But again, we couldn't have fit all of those golfers. So that's kind of the difficulty with all of this is, sure, it might get us on the right players, but sometimes we can't fit them all in the lineup. So we would have to choose golfers that we'd have to make sure we pick the right golfers. I mean, I believe in the optimal lineup, you had needed Rory, Shane Lowry. So you've got a 2, a 1. You wanted Sung Jae. I think you wanted Adam Hadwin. Yes, you wanted Adam Hadwin. So you got a 3. So we got two 1s, a 2, a 3. We wanted Danny Willett, so another 1, and Wes Roach, a 1-1. That was the optimal lineup as far as I could see. So again, process worked. I don't think anyone would have been on Wes Roach. I have no idea who the hell he is, so I wouldn't have picked him. But yeah, it's nice to see the process working. Hopefully I'll have a preview of the US Open tomorrow. That is the goal. I worked pretty hard on graphics Sunday, and today I just had a busy day at work, so didn't really get around to any of kind of analyzing stats. So I had material ready for a video. So hopefully I have all that due tomorrow. And I will make a promise. I'm going to get a video up tomorrow night sometime. We'll wait and see. But with that, I think that's all I wanted to do on the review. Just show you guys the process worked. We'll stick at it, and hopefully we can see something for the US Open that will get us on players that no one else will be on, and that we wouldn't have been on if we didn't see it, or if we didn't see the process. So I'm going to change up the format. I think I'm going to also probably stay away from the spreadsheets here. Please sound off, in the comment section, or, tweet me. Let me know what you like to see. I think the spreadsheet is a little too zoomed out. I could probably zoom in, but then it just, with all the information I have on the spreadsheet, it's probably not good. So I think I'll just create some visuals, some players, just list the guys that I like in bigger font. So it's a little simpler, but it's nice for you guys to see the spreadsheet, because this is what I work on, and this is essentially what I'm going to try to sell somewhere down the road. So it is good to see it. Probably I'll just create some videos off to the side to show you guys how I really use the spreadsheets to my advantage, and try to hopefully sell you on it. So anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow for the US Open. Hope you guys did well, and hopefully we find a better selection of players for the US Open to make money. Thank you.